Hey guys, I'm going to review this knife in the middle, the Dragonfly ZDP189. This is a small everyday carry knife for small everyday type tasks. So I'll be using this to break down boxes, maybe cut a little bit of food or fruit, just anything that needs poking with a super sharp surgical quality blade. You'll use this knife for. Now this knife came to me in pretty average condition, I must say. ZDP189, I know it's a very hard steel. I had some chips about where my finger is on the blade. I had about probably a row of maybe 3 or 4 micro chips, which did definitely leave a snag when I sliced through paper upon taking the knife out of the box. Those have since been remedied by first the work sharp and then some stones, and now the edge is super fine. It's my own edge, so it's not perfect, and I did blunt the tip a little bit on the work sharp, which I still need to get to fixing. But it is now ultra sharp. Hair shaving sharp, and it has stayed that way despite all the use I've put it through. I've tested it a fair bit on wood, cardboard, food, and not disappointed whatsoever in the steel's quality. The chipping may have been from something that happens in the factory, probably a grind issue, I would suggest. I was worried that they'd perhaps missed perhaps the spring was something wrong and it was perhaps colliding with like a pillar or something inside the knife, but that's not the case, so I'm fairly sure it was just a grinding snafu in the factory. What do you get for your $130? You're mainly paying for the steel, because generally you'll pay about sort of $90 to $100 for a standard Spyderco Dragonfly. You pay $130 without postage, so it probably ends up being about $145 for the ZDP Spyderco Dragonfly 2. Is it worth it? I would say yes. If you've already got a bigger knife with lesser steel, then absolutely get your small knife in the super steel. Best way to experience super steels, I think, because you're going to have less blade to use in the beginning, so why not make it, you're going to have to sharpen it less because it's made of a great alloy like this. Even the stainlessness, I do hear that ZDP, it does come a bit cloudier than the VG10, but it really hasn't tarnished off on me at all, and I've cut oranges and cut pickles and salami and that sort of thing with this knife, so yeah, it's actually doing really well. So the blade, no complaints at all. The blade's got a good leaf shape, nice bit of belly on it. The tip is fine when you get it. This one's not particularly because of my mistake, but it does come with a nice fine tip, and even still, this tip's no worries at all. You can still poke and pry with this tip, and yeah, there really isn't a problem with it. You can choke up on the blade like this, pinch like that, wrap your fingers around it, lots of variability there. A couple of different grips. The most comfortable grip is this one, the 3-fingered grip. Pinky's hanging off in the darkness, but that's cool. Choking up does feel a little bit weird for me because I think my hands are a little bit too big. My fingers just want to go over the knife and touch my hand here, whereas they should be landing there on the knife. But to do that feels like I'm stooping my fingers a bit, which doesn't work. So I prefer to hold the knife like this and just have that gap. You can sort of creep up a bit, but sort of just feels odd. I think if I had slightly smaller hands, it'd be the best. The mini Tough Light is more comfortable. That's just a 3-fingered grip, but it's a very solid 3-fingered grip. The handle's a bit thicker as well, so it's just fills my hands a little bit more anyway. And the Falcon Avenue too, less sort of grip safety, because I guess nothing's stopping my hand from going up and landing on that ultra sharp blade, but more comfortable altogether as well. 4 fingers plus lanyard, very comfy. Pocket clip is very good. It is swappable but not reversible, so you can swap either side, but you can't go tip down. No, you can't go tip. Yeah, you can't go tip down. Sorry. Yep. So that's the way. The lock mechanism of the knife is just a standard lock back, which is pretty unremarkable. Lockbacks do make knives less fun to play with because they don't fly open because the back of the blade tang does come into a couple of points of friction while you're opening it. This blade's got pretty good walk and torque, like it comes open very smoothly. You can sort of feel the lock somewhat pushing back a little bit when you first take it out, but then once it's free at about this point, it flows right nice and open. All good there as well. The liners are empty of steel, so there is no steel liners at all. It's just the FRN and the lock spring which are holding the knife together, but it does feel like a very robust design. The pocket clip is of adequate depth in the pocket to there, obviously, so you just have this triangle pointing out the top. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with that as well. No issues there. I don't expect a small knife like this to completely disappear into my pocket, otherwise, you know what, you'd probably never see it. So there it is. Overall, I'm pretty happy with my Dragonfly 2, and I'm very, very happy with the steel. After I got it right, it's definitely comparable with this Super Gold powder steel. I wouldn't say it's better or worse yet, I just don't have the data, so you'll have to stay tuned. Perhaps I'll put that as a point in my U2 review once I've done enough hours of testing on this one. With this one, I've put it through enough paces to be able to pretty confidently say that this is a very, very good small knife. Probably one of the best small knives going. For $135, that price is steep, but I would definitely spend an extra $35 to have such a good steel. This steel's held its edge way longer than the VG10 on my Delica does, so there's definitely something to this, and it holds it way longer than this AUS 8 on this mini Tough Light, which pretty much dulls after a few days of use, and I find myself back sharpening again. So overall, I'm happy with my Dragonfly 2. I'm not ecstatic about it. This U2 is definitely the knife that I love more out of the two of them, and I'm not quite sure why. I think sometimes these things aren't quantifiable with data. It's just that the steel is easily as good as this, the grip is more comfortable, the nail nick sort of feels a bit more, I don't know, I like the nail nick. I know it's not as easy, but these small knives, they're not ever supposed to be sort of fast use or fast deployment. They're just for when you actually need a knife and you don't really want to play with it all day. It's the same locking mechanism, roughly the same handle material. This is Zytel, this is FRN, very similar to the feel really. This isn't as textured as this is. This has got great gripping, but even still, I probably do prefer the Falkniven. And for the same price, if I had $135-ish, I'd probably get this one, and I'd get probably like a bigger Spyderco, like a Delica or a Paramilitary, if I just wanted the Spyderco experience. However, I am lucky enough to be able to afford both and have both, so I certainly do alternate these quite happily. That's about the review, guys. Which do you prefer out of these two? The U2 or the Dragonfly 2? Curious to hear feedback. Dragonfly 2 it's a classic, and the Falkniven U2 is a modern classic. I think these have been going for a fair while as well, so yeah, interested to hear thoughts. Alright guys, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.